9 o'clock. I have Yuki in the car with me. We are headed in to go to a chest x-ray, which is going to look at her lungs to see if there is cancer in her lungs. It's going to take a couple days to get the results because they have to be sent to oncology and pathology. And then once we get the results, it'll give us more of an idea of how we're going to move forward. If the cancer is not detected in her lungs, that is a good sign. That means that the bumps or lumps on her teats could be benign tumors. Doesn't mean that they're cancerous. So then we are going to move forward with surgery, which will be next week, and they're going to send off a biopsy to the lab to test for cancer. So, but if it's already in her lungs, that means it's progressed and could be all the way out of stage 4. And so the vet does not recommend surgery at that point, especially if we're not going to do chemo. And after Josh and I talked, it doesn't seem like chemo is going to be happening. It won't be likely because she's already 10 and the side effects will be really, really hard on her. It's not going to be a good rest of her life if she's on chemo, and she'd have to be kept separate from the other dogs, and I just don't want to put her through that. I don't want that to be the last memory of her life, being sick from chemo and not having, I guess it's going to depend on the prognosis, but we'll get into that when we have more answers. But we are going to head in, and this will be a simple appointment. We're not going to see the vet today. They're just going to do the chest x-ray, and then they'll call me later. So we're going to head inside. So it is now Tuesday, April 16th. It is 7:40 in the morning, and I just got to the vet for Yuki's surgery. The chest x-ray came back showing no cancer spores in her lungs, which is great news. And her blood work for being a senior dog also came back clear. I was just really relieved that the blood work and the chest x-ray came back as it did. So yeah, she's going to go in for surgery to get the masses removed. And then, fingers crossed, everything's okay. They are going to send the masses off for a biopsy to check for cancer or not. I don't know, you guys can't really see, but I have Daisy in the car with me too. Because on Sunday she started scooting, and she's never done this in the 9 months, 10 months that we've had her. And Winnie would scoot, and that would usually signify that she has a UTI. Winnie is prone to getting UTIs. If you guys have been here for a while, she ended up with stones and had to have bladder stone removal, all that stuff. So, anyways, it hasn't happened for Daisy, but she has a recessed vulva just like Winnie does. And so it freaked me out. So I had to bring her in yesterday for a doctor's appointment to check for a UTI. She did not have enough urine in her bladder to successfully check. So we are back here to do that again today. But I'm going to finish updating you guys when I'm done because I got to get her inside.
Very bland diet right now. Rice and boiled chicken. That's what Yuki can eat. She only eats it sometimes. Huh, you want to try to eat? We came in here without the other dog so she could eat.
Hey everyone. I feel like this vlog is probably all over the place. It's now Friday, April 26th. I don't even think I really updated this vlog since the last time I was at the vet. This has been very traumatic for me, very overwhelming. But if you follow me over on Instagram, you've probably seen some of the updates, which I don't really have time to go into the updates right now because we are at the vet again. So it's April 26th, Friday. It's almost 4 o'clock. Yuki, yes, you. See how she has the donut cone on? Well, underneath the donut cone, she has a neck brace because with the donut cone, she can still reach her incision. And with the camo cone that she previously had on, which is like the standard cone, she also could reach her incision. So we had to buy this like neck brace that prevents her from being able to whip her like neck, like curl it enough to get her incision. Well, in the middle of the night last night, at some point when I was sleeping and Josh was sleeping, she wiggled her way out of both the donut cone and the neck brace. and she licked open her incision. The incision itself is not completely open, but there is a spot that is pretty raw. And so when I called the vet this morning, they asked me to send pictures. So I did, and they showed the doctor, and I was assuming they would want to see her, and they do. So we are now at the vet again. And she's supposed to come back on Monday to get her staples removed, and Daisy's supposed to come back on Monday to get her recheck. We are going to head into the vet to get the incision looked at, and then I will do another update from here.
Okay, just getting home from the vet. Well, I went to Walmart after the vet. So her incision does not look like it's infected, and it's not opening where the actual incision is, which is good. They want me to double cone her, and this is going to be a lot. They want me to put the camel cone back on in front of the donut. So she's supposed to get her staples out on Monday, but since she's a licker, she's going to have her cones on for like another 2 weeks or so until the incision's like fully healed. So they want me to go buy baby onesies. They said 36 months, but the biggest that they had was 24 months. And the weight is 28 to 32, and she's 18 pounds. So I'm thinking this will be fine, these sizes. But we also, Josh ordered, they're like recovery suits after dogs have surgery, but they're not going to get here till Sunday. So these will have to work in the meantime. And then they also recommended getting Neosporin that has lidocaine in it now. I didn't know that this existed. I knew that there was pain-free ones, but I didn't know that there was lidocaine ones. So we also got this for her. So I can't put this on her actual incision, just the area around it, which is tender from where she was licking. And then they also said it's okay to give her Benadryl. I was giving her Benadryl shortly after the surgery when I went for her first like emergency visit because she wasn't eating or drinking. The Benadryl just helps keep her calm, and so that she's not constantly trying to lick. And while I was there, I also got her this food. This is like the Fresh Pet slice and serve roll tender chicken recipe, but I'm gonna mix this. She did not want to eat earlier, and so I was not able to give her anti-inflammatory medication because you had to take that with food. And so I got this. I've been boiling chicken and rice for her, and I have a pack of chicken in the fridge that I just haven't boiled yet, and I don't feel like doing that tonight. It's already 7 o'clock, so I'm going to just see if she'll eat this. That way I can at least give her a medicine. We'll put her onesie on, we'll put the Neosporin on, and I will get clips of her with her onesie on because I'm sure she looks so cute.
Yeah, probably.
Hey everyone, it is another update, another day. I think I left off on Friday. Now today is Monday, the 28th, maybe. I'm so bad with dates. We just got home. You guys can see Yuki in the back. She just got her staples out. It's 9:40 in the morning. And yeah, staples are out. They want her to keep her cone on and her recovery suit. So on Friday they told us to buy onesies, which we did. I went to Walmart and I got onesies. But we also ordered this recovery suit because it has like spaces. She can use the bathroom still, like she can go outside and go potty. The onesie I had to like cut areas, but now we have like a supply. I am going to get Yuki inside, and then in about 30-45 minutes get back in the car with Daisy because she has an appointment at 11:15 to go do her recheck. She's been fine ever since her surgery. She's been a-okay, but they still want to recheck to make sure the inside is healed how it's supposed to. And then she'll have to go back every 3 to 4 weeks for anal gland expressions, which I'm not really looking forward to doing that. But if it prevents a rupture in the future, I'm going to do whatever it takes because I'm not going to go through this again. It was too much to go through. later, I'm sitting on the floor in my closet because it is in the evening time. We just got done having dinner a little bit ago, and so I wanted a quiet space to basically recap everything that's going on. You guys can probably hear the kids. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So I'm gonna start at the beginning and I'm gonna go really quick. A few weeks ago, I was rubbing Yuki's belly. Yuki is a Shiba Inu. She's 10 years old. We've had her since she was 12 weeks old. So we have raised her from a little pup. And a few weeks ago, I was rubbing her belly. She's very fluffy, so we give her belly rubs all the time. And I had never felt this on her, but I felt a bump towards her back legs, and it happened to be pretty much right underneath towards the side of one of her nipples. And that particular nipple had some discharge around it, but it was dry. So silly me Googled what could that be, and the first thing that popped up was mammary breast cancer. I was like, no. She's doing fine. She's not showing any symptoms. Can't be that. I got her into the vet a couple days later. At first, the vet did not seem too concerned, thinking it was just probably some inflamed tissue. Given the fact that she'd been fine, this is the first thing that we've noticed. But then Yuki so the vet was sitting on a stool, and Yuki had put her paws up to get attention, and the vet reached down to rub her belly, and she felt what seemed to be a second mass. So we flipped her over again, and she really looked at it you couldn't see anything, but felt more of it, and said, yeah, I think we need to do surgery to remove it and send it for a biopsy. I had to pause to let the dogs in the room. I'm back, and now Daisy's here. So before having the surgery done, Yuki needed to get an MET x-ray. So the x-ray is a chest x-ray, but they're actually looking at her lungs, because if she did have breast cancer, if it was progressed, it would show up in her lungs as little spores. They said probably about the size of your fingertip. And that would determine if we were going to move forward with surgery or not. Because if it was already progressed to her lungs, it would be a stage 4 cancer, and our only option would be chemo and radiation. And if we weren't going to do that, the vet did not recommend putting her through surgery. Because if we removed the mass, the cancer would still be in her lungs, essentially. So we went through with the chest x-ray and her pre-op blood work, especially because she is a senior. They do some more in-depth blood work. We did the x-ray. We got the call a couple days later that her lungs were completely clear, did not show any spores, and her blood work looked great. So we were set for surgery. So the day before she was having surgery, Daisy started scooting. I think I mentioned this in some clips, but I was pretty certain Daisy probably had a UTI just because she was mimicking what Winnie does. And so when I took her in, they tried to get a urine sample, but she did not have enough urine in her bladder to test it. So I had to bring a kit home, and I was not successful at getting her urine either. She did not have a temperature. They said her vulva looked inflamed, so they sent us home with a cream, and they said if I wasn't able to get to urine, to bring her back the next day when I was dropping off Yuki for surgery. So fast forward to that day. That was on a Tuesday. Early in the morning, 7:45 is their check-in time for surgery. I had Yuki and Daisy by myself. Josh had to take the kids to school, so it was so busy. Yuki went back for surgery. Daisy went back with another technician, and she was able to draw up urine. And then I took Daisy home with me, but we stopped and got coffee. We got Dunkin' Donuts. I got a coffee Daisy got a pup cup. I think I got clips of that. And I wanted to say too, one of Yuki's visits afterwards, I went to Black Rock to get a coffee, and then I got Yuki a pup cup from Black Rock as well. So, treating myself with coffee for dealing with all this, and treating my dogs with little pup cups. So Daisy did not end up having a UTI. They said to just continue with the vulva cream, and later on that day, I went and picked up Yuki from surgery and got a bunch of meds for her, and I was like, okay, this is the end of it. Fast forward, I think 2 more days, actually 3, so that was Tuesday. Fast forward to Friday. Yuki was not eating. She was not drinking. She was refusing any food, any water, just not even treats, not even people food. It was nothing. So I called the vet and I was like, I think Yuki needs to come back in because she's worrying me. I'm afraid she's gonna get dehydrated. I can't give her all of her meds because she's not eating, and some of them you have to take with food, otherwise they'll start throwing up. And so that was right at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they said that they would talk to the doctor and then they would give me a call back. While I was waiting for the call back, Daisy had jumped up on my bed, and my bedspread is tan, and all of a sudden I see blood, and I assumed it was from her vulva and that she did have a UTI, and then she was bleeding. And then all of a sudden Emma was with me because they didn't have school on that Friday, on the 19th. She's like, Mom, it's her butt, it's her butt. So sorry TMI, but Daisy was bleeding from her butt, and I lost it, like tears just streaming from my face because I had never seen that. Called the vet again. I was like, I know I already called you guys about Yuki, but it's Daisy. You guys just saw her this week. She is bleeding. And they were like, okay, is she bleeding when she goes to the bathroom? I was like, no, she's just bleeding and I need to bring her in right now. And so I packed her up. I left Yuki here. I left the kids here. Josh was working. I packed Daisy up. We rushed to the vet. She ended up having an anal gland rupture. And so this part is where I really, really love our vet's office, and I don't mean this harshly, but this is where I got a little bit upset with them, which I didn't fully voice my concerns just because I don't like speaking up all the way, but they didn't check her anal glands when I brought her in on Monday when I said that she was scooting. They didn't take her temperature rectally because she was like afraid, so they only did it under her armpit. And then the vet today, upon the recheck, said, no, I'm pretty sure we did her anal glands because I told the vet it was not her vulva. It just wasn't. And I was like, no, I don't think you did. And she went back and looked at her notes, and they did not check her anal glands when I said that she was scooting. They just only checked the vulva and the UTI because that's what I had said, but I'm not the doctor. I'm just comparing her to what I went through with Winnie. So I felt like if they would have done her anal glands on Monday when I brought her in, she would have never had an anal gland rupture. And if you guys have dogs yourself, I've read and now I've heard that anal gland ruptures are super, super painful for them. And she was acting fine the morning of. When they took her back to try to see, she had yelped twice. So bad, like the worst yelp I've ever heard in my life. And my heart just broke. And so that whole week, I just spent almost every waking hour crying. It really did take a toll on me. So I had to leave Daisy there so she could have immediate sedation, and they could clean her out, and then they had to like lance, I think it's what it's called, like lance her anal glands that were ruptured. And then they wanted me to bring Yuki back. So I left Daisy there, came back home, scooped up Yuki, took Yuki there. They had to give her IV fluids that they put like on top of their neck, so they have like a little camel hump is what they call it. So they injected her with fluids, they injected her with an antibiotic shot, and they injected her with anti-nausea medication. That kind of perked her up, and then she was eating, and then I wasn't worried about her fluid intake because she had fluids, so that was a relief. While I was there on that Friday, the other doctor that was there came in and discussed the results with me from the biopsy. And so I was already upset and I was already crying because I was dealing with Daisy, I was dealing with Yuki, and the results of the biopsy came back as cancer. And I was devastated. Like, my whole body has chills right now because I don't want to cry. I told myself I'm not going to cry when I do this video. So I did have a huge mental breakdown. I do have the paperwork here, which I'm not going to show because it has a lot of our personal information. But they did note that upon exam, the mammary chain was roughly 1 centimeter, and it tripled in size by the time that they did the surgery. So it is a rapid growth tumor. They said that it could be 2 different types of cancer, but the first biopsy is just a very non-invasive biopsy. We can pay a few more $100, $300 to $500 more or whatever, to have it further looked at, but that's not going to change what we do from here. Malignant neoplasia, top consideration, anaplastic mammary carcinoma. So that's what they are thinking it is the mammary carcinoma. But there is like a second one, sarcoma or histiocytic sarcoma. They said that one is less likely. So they were not able to give us a full prognosis. We have no idea because they gave us the information for the oncology, but we aren't certain we are going to go that route. Not only because if we put her through chemo and radiation, her quality of life will be diminished. And I don't want her last moments on this earth to be filled with pain or just not being able to be present and alive. Chemo does come with a lot of side effects, and it's still not a guarantee. They can't say if we do this round of treatment or this round of chemo, she'll have X amount of years. It's just not guaranteed. There's no way to know for certain. So as of this moment right now, the cancerous mass is removed from her body. They cut to clean tissue, and the lymph node that was also attached to the mass was actually found not cancerous. So that one didn't change during the process, only the mammary tissue did. So that is another good sign, and the fact that her lungs were clear, like I said in the beginning, was another really good sign. So my hope for her, for all of us, is that they removed the cancerous tissue and it doesn't grow back, and we have many more years with her. That is my hope. That is my prayer. that's what I need. I don't even want to say want. I need that, you know. If you guys have been around here for a while, we lost our black lab Akira over the summer of 2022. So this coming year will be 2 years without her, and so I can't imagine losing another dog. My dogs are my life. I know to some people they are just dogs or just animals or just pets, but I care deeply for them. And that's why I've went through all these hoops over the last couple weeks to make sure that they are okay. So as of today's visits went, Yuki's checkup, she got her staples removed. She still has to wear her recovery suit and her cone because she's determined to lick her incision. So we have to wait until it's fully healed and scabbed over. So they said 4 days is what they usually recommend, but since she's so determined, they would like to see it on for probably another week. Daisy's checkup went perfect. She's doing great. Everything is healing as it should, but she will now need to have anal gland expressions done every month for a while, and then we're going to try to stretch it to 6 weeks, and then we're going to try to stretch it to 8 weeks. But since she's already had one of these, they said it's likely the way that her anal glands function that she will need them more often than like I've ever done for any of our dogs, to be honest. So that is something that we are adding into our routine, into our lives every month or so. So that is the update. I wish I had better news. This has been really hard. These last few weeks have been a huge challenge, especially for me. I'm sure you guys might know I suffer from mental illness and chronic illness, and when things like this pop up, I have a really hard time dealing with them than the average person. I love hard, and like I said, these are my dogs, and I just can't imagine. So it's been hard, and so YouTube has gone on the back burner. I have not posted very much lately on either channel, and this is why, because I can't even, pick up the camera without crying because I'm just so overwhelmed and really, really challenged. Life has been throwing me a lot of curveballs, and so self-care is very important for me during these times, and so taking a step back from everything was what I needed. So I am hoping that things are easier from here on out, and I can create more content and share more content with you guys. But I want to thank each and every one of you for clicking on today's video, watching all the way through, reaching out to me, all of the messages that I have received, and everyone checking in on myself and my family and my dogs. You guys mean a lot to me, and I don't know what I would do without this community. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please continue to keep us in your thoughts, your prayers if you pray, just good energy and good vibes if you could. I hope you guys are all doing well. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.